Welcome to Rosa TV, the place where you learn scientifically proven ways to support your child learn English better and faster. So recently I've been reading a book that's called No Drama Discipline, and I think it really goes in line in what we believe here at Coventry University literacy team, where we have a group of professional psychologists working together to help your child learn better literacy skills. So today I would like to give you a very quick summary of the book so that you can get some tips to learn how to support your child. So whenever we think about discipline, it's very easy for us to immediately think about punishment, right? Like scolding our child, punishing our child, just acting in a very reactive way. But that does not need to be the case. The reason why is because if we think about ourselves as an adult, if we think about like after a long day of work and our boss come and say to us, I don't think you're doing a very good job here, or what you're doing is not great at all. When we hear that, immediately we get into the defense mechanism and we were like, what are you talking about? Immediately we get very angry. And actually, that's what happened when we say to our child, why are you doing that? That's not correct, that's inappropriate. Immediately we get our child to that defense mechanism, that defense mode, where it's very hard to connect with our child. It's very hard for them to listen to us. But the fact that you click to this video, that means you want something better. You want to find effective ways to support your child. And that's what we are going to talk about today. One thing that you'll realize what I'm going to talk about is around one theme, that's about connect. Because if we look at the word discipline, the Latin meaning of discipline is actually teaching and learning. So whenever there is a chance where we can see our child is doing something that we don't like, we can see this as an opportunity for us to connect with our child so that we can teach and guide them to do something that we think is more appropriate. So seeing this as a learning experience rather than punishing our child. And that's very important, as we mentioned, that actually once we connect with our child, it's actually easier for them to listen to our message and do something that's more appropriate in that situation. So step one, we really need to connect with our child. So what do I mean? Normally, we don't like our boss talking to us in a really superior to an inferior way, right? So we bring this attitude to our children as well. When we talk to them, we might need to knee down, we might need to bend down a bit so that we are on their eye level. That's number one, so that they can feel like they are on a similar level to us. For two, we actually show that we understand them. So say like, oh, I can see that it has been a very long day. I'm sure there is something happening in school today. Would you like to tell me about that? No, you don't act like that. What makes you so tired and angry today? So, and then after that, we are just gonna listen. Really listen to what our child is saying to us and showing them by like our nonverbal skills like nodding, showing them that we are hearing them. Once we do all these skills, the building that connection with our child, then there are 3 steps that I would like to talk about today that can help us to discipline our child. It's around why, what, and how. So why, number one, is approaching our children with curiosity rather than jumping to an assumption. So what I mean is that, say like if we don't like our children being so loud, number one, being loud, and for 2, throwing things, right? So this, say like this is the situation that we don't like our children is doing. When we are tired, immediately we can get into a situation where we go, why are you being so loud? It's inappropriate to throw things. So rather than reacting in this reactive mode, we can give ourselves the space and to think about, okay, being curious in that situation. Think about, okay, there is something unusual here. My child is not like that normally. So that's why we are going in with a curious mind rather than making assumptions. And we might need to adjust our expectation as well based on the child's age. So say like if the child is about age 3, which psychologists sometimes we call them half monster stage, where their executive function skills is still building. So they even themselves, even if they try really hard, it's very difficult to inhibit their action. So something reassuring is to say to the child, I know you are trying very hard. So again, letting them know that we are on their side, supporting them rather than we are their enemy and we are just keep saying no to them. This is really important because when I was studying for my master's and my PhD, I was supervised by Professor Maggie Snowling, who is a real leader in the field of dyslexia. And there's one thing that just kept stuck in my head, even though I did it 10 years ago when I did my master's, but it really stuck in my head. What Maggie said is that at the end of the day, our children are gonna categorize us as my close family versus a horrible teacher. At the end of the day, that's the two two categories that they are going to put us into. So that's why, obviously, I'm sure all of us would rather we are in their close family category rather than in this enemy category, because at the end of the day, in the future, if our children get into any trouble, we would rather they come to us and talk to us. But that's the thing, if they see us being this one, always telling no, you shouldn't do that, you're being told off, then obviously when they come into any trouble, why would they come and tell us, right? So that's why today I'm talking about we need to build the connection with our children so that when things happen, they actually come to us. So after we talk about why, number 2 is what. This is a very good point. So it's thinking about the goal of discipline is not just about consequence. If we go back to the point just now where we don't like our children being loud, we don't like our children doing the throwing act, throwing papers, and here there is actually, before we tackle the situation of the child being loud and the child throwing things, we might actually need to think about, okay, why my child is being so loud today? Maybe at this moment she's feeling angry, and here we have a bigger problem. Here is we need to help our children to understand anger and how to handle anger, because if she does not handle anger well, now she might be throwing papers, in the future she will be throwing knives, and that's not what we want as parents. So that's why I'm saying that we need to help our children to understand their emotion, and we are there to support them to understand their emotion. And it might be the case that we need to say to our child, look, are you feeling angry? Some of the time mommy feel angry too. Then now you slowly get into step 3 where you talk to them, is there anything that we can do when we feel angry again? Now here we come to step 3, which is how. Because as parents, we don't need to rescue our children all the time. They can actually rescue themselves. We actually just need to be there to walk with them, to journey this process with them. So that's why I say next time when this happens, is there anything that we can do together that we can overcome this anger together? It's okay to feel angry. Mommy feels angry too sometimes. But is there anything that we can do together next time? So maybe you guys can find a solution together. Maybe next time when your child feels angry, rather than throwing stuff, maybe she can come and say to you and say, Mom, this happened at school and it makes me really upset or angry. I'm really mad. I'm really, really angry. So coming to talk to you, it would be great that both of you come together, work out this solution together so that your child see you as a teammate rather than an enemy. Most of the best conversation happen after we upload the video. So down there, can you please type what's your tips? What do you do to get your children actually communicate with you, talk to you about their feelings so that they see you as friends rather than enemies? Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.